Navigating the complexities of our own minds can be challenging. Welcome to Hansei Ventures. My goal is to give you the psychological tools and insights you need for real personal growth. In each video, we break down the science behind our habits, emotions, and interactions. There is a certain kind of a person I want to talk to today. The kind who has big dreams but can't seem to move. Someone who wakes up thinking, today's the day, I'll change everything. They make plans, maybe even feel that brief spark of excitement. But then they check their phone, watch a video, grab a snack, and somehow the day just disappears. If that sounds like you, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're just caught in a quiet war between two parts of yourself. The part that wants to evolve and the part that's afraid to try. This video is about that conflict, what I call the ambition paradox. It's the strange situation where your dreams are enormous, your vision is clear, but your energy and focus never seem to match. You might tell yourself, I just need more motivation. But motivation fades. You might try to push harder, but pressure only makes the resistance grow stronger. So today, let's slow down and look deeper. Why do ambitious people, smart, capable, driven people often feel paralyzed? Why do we set goals that inspire us and then feel no desire to start them? And what can we actually do about it? The answer begins with understanding something uncomfortable. Your brain doesn't care about your dreams, it cares about your safety. You see, ambition is thrilling, but it's also threatening. When you imagine yourself succeeding, becoming healthier, richer, more respected, you also imagine the possibility of failing. And that's where the subconscious alarm bells start to ring. Every big ambition asks a dangerous question. What if I'm not capable of this? What if I try and it doesn't work? Your nervous system interprets that uncertainty as a form of danger, so it protects you, not by confronting the fear, but by distracting you from it. It makes you scroll, it makes you rest just a bit longer. It keeps you in a safe zone where your potential can't be tested and therefore can't be proven wrong. This is why the people with the biggest dreams often struggle the most with procrastination. It's not because they don't care, it's because they care too much. Their identity is deeply tied to the image of who they could become, and starting risks breaking that illusion. It's easier to imagine greatness than to face the possibility of mediocrity. So, the first truth is this: your laziness isn't a flaw, it's your brain's way of saying, I'm scared. The trick is learning to listen, not obey. Now, let's move deeper. There is another subtle trap that keeps ambitious people stuck: the illusion of readiness. We convince ourselves that one day we'll wake up and just feel ready to change. When things are more stable, when we have more time, more confidence, more energy. But that moment never arrives because readiness is a trick of the mind. It's the brain's polite way of saying, not yet, I'm still protecting you. The truth is, readiness doesn't come from action, it comes from action. So, readiness doesn't come before action, it comes from action. You build readiness by moving, you build clarity by doing. The brain follows evidence, not intention. When it sees you act, even in small, imperfect ways, it starts to believe you. It starts, oh, we're really doing this. And that belief slowly rewires your identity. You go from someone who wants to improve to someone who does. That's how momentum is born, not in giant leaps, but in micro movements that prove to your brain that you're safe even when you act. And once it feels safe, it lets you go further. But there is one more layer, perhaps the hardest one, the guilt spiral. You know this one, you put something off, then feel guilty. You promise to do better tomorrow, but the guilt drains your energy. And when tomorrow comes, you repeat the cycle. This guilt spiral isn't just emotional, it's neurological. It's what psychologists call ego depletion. You're burning energy, punishing yourself for inaction instead of using that energy to act. And the more you punish yourself, the weaker your self trust becomes. Eventually, you start to believe that maybe you really are lazy, maybe you're just not the type who follows through. But that belief, that label, is the real prison. Because here's the truth, no one becomes disciplined by hating themselves into action. Shame doesn't create change, safety does. The most productive people you'll never meet aren't fearless. They have simply built a relationship with their own imperfection. They don't demand perfection before starting. They start so that they can improve. So instead of saying, I need to be better, try saying, I need to be safer to try. Create a mental environment where trying isn't punished by guilt, where effort itself is enough, because that's where growth begins. In the safety to begin again without judgment. So, how do you build that safety? Let's turn these ideas into action. The first step is to shrink the starting point. When your brain resists something, it's usually because the task feels too big. So make it ridiculously small. If you want to write, open one document and write one sentence. If you want to get fit, just put on your shoes and step outside. If you want to study, commit to 5 minutes. It might sound trivial, but it's not. Every time you take a small step, your brain learns that action isn't dangerous. It learns that you can move and survive, and that repetition is what builds momentum. Next, redefine what success means. Most of us measure success by outcomes. Did I finish the book? Did I get a promotion? Did I make progress? But in the beginning, success isn't about results, it's about consistency. If you showed up, you succeeded. If you tried, even clumsily, you succeeded. Because showing up builds identity, and identity fuels everything else. And finally, use self compassion as a tool, not a reward. Don't wait to be kind to yourself only when you succeed. Be kind because you're trying. Self compassion doesn't make you soft, it makes you stable, and stability is what discipline grows from. When your inner voice changes from you failed again to you're learning, keep going, your mind stops resisting effort because now effort feels safe. Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And that's exactly what happens with laziness and ambition. We think we're fighting laziness, but what we're really fighting is fear. Fear that if we try, we'll expose who we really are. So the unconscious takes control. It directs your actions, and you call it fate. But once you bring it to light, once you understand that your so called laziness is really your nervous system trying to protect you, you reclaim control. Ambition and laziness aren't opposites, they are signals from the same source. Ambition shows you what you could become, laziness shows you what you still fear becoming. Both want the same thing for you to feel safe enough to grow. So stop fighting yourself, start listening, start small. Let your ambition speak softly through action, not pressure. And when you fail, because you will, fail gently, because that's how you learn to start again. If you've been calling yourself lazy, maybe it's time to call yourself a human, because behind every form of resistance lies a mind that's simply asking to feel safe, understood, and believed in. And when you learn to give yourself that, the discipline comes naturally. Our exploration of the mind is only beginning. The next tool we uncover could be the one that changes everything for you. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.